nice and soft. We're back outside in the sunshine of Sussex here at Horn Park. Today I want to talk about the right arm. Now, I did a little video a while ago on the right arm and it said don't tuck this, and it was a video that really started to compromise and question a video that was done by Danny Maud. And what I said in that video was don't tuck the arm. And I had a little video that got commented on my broom video. If you haven't seen it, go check that out. And it talks about when my club gets in delivery, how my right arm is tucked in, and of course we see that with a lot of the best players in the world, and how that right arm really unloads down at the golf ball. Now, the perception of many golfers are that the right arm has to actively bend in a conscious way. And I want to talk about why that is not the case. And there's a few reasons why this right arm in a downswing must not be pulled in, must not be trapped in. Because let's have a little think about what's going on during a golf swing. First things first, the right hand for a right-handed golfer is at the bottom of the grip. And because the right hand is at the bottom of the grip, as soon as we start moving the club away, the radius of the right hand will start to narrow. The radius of the left hand will start to widen. And because of that, that's why we get a compression of the right arm. So as the club starts to move around us in our backswing, this top hand starts to set, and the set of the golf club starts to bring the right arm flex. And of course, as we then go on through, we then start to move the club on the way down, and then the right arm has an opportunity to go from being loaded to unloaded. And so when the right arm starts to load, the radius, the arc of the club head becomes more narrow. I widen the right arm, and even if I was to set the club, you can see that the wrist angle would never be able to get as far to create a narrow enough arc on the way back as much as a softening of a right arm would. So the right arm, as it softens and flexes in a backswing, will actually facilitate a narrowing of the radius in a backswing. But not only that, the facilitation of the narrowing of a backswing actually makes the golf swing longer. And so when you see how the right arm starts to fold in the backswing, you can see how the golf swing gets longer. If the right arm was longer, you can see how the set would come out and the golf club width of it would be far wider. So that's dealing with the backswing. And the job the right arm has in a backswing, it should fold away. Now, the amount that the right arm starts to bend and flex will have an impact, or will be affected by how you grip the golf club. Because what you'll see is golfers that are trying to unload the golf club, that are trying to widen the arc on the way down, are the golfers that are trying to close the club face and trying to make the ball stop itself going to the right. So the widening of the arm helps a golfer not hit the ball right. A narrowing of the golfer with the right arm actually makes the ball go more to the right. So the width of the right arm in the backswing and the narrowness of the right arm in the downswing will give you essentially a more efficient lever system. So we go wide, narrow, and then unload. And that's the makeup of a golf swing and how the right arm must work. But I now have a club face that's open, and I'm just going to do this with the 7-iron. So I now have my right arm, and it goes wide, narrow, and then unloaded. ball goes fairly straight. If I now grip the club weak, right hand too much on top, wide, narrow, unload, ball goes off to the right. To counter the ball going off to the right, and as we know, a large percentage of golfers hit the ball right, by then widening the arc earlier, straightening the right arm earlier, will then help the golfer not hit it right and fire it off to the left. So the radius and the energy at which this right arm either wants to soften in your downswing, and I'll just demonstrate this, how much the right arm wants to soften in the downswing will go hand in hand with how straight you hit the golf ball. If I were to make that right arm soften in the downswing and then the ball goes to the right, it wouldn't be long before I'd go nuts to softening the right arm. I want to help get the golf club straight and not hit it to the right. And therefore the widening of that right arm then loses a lot of the set which we talked about up here, and we see the straightening of the arm in the downswing as over the top. The over the top is not the shoulder, because if I make a downswing and I make my right shoulder come forwards and I keep my arm soft, or I make my right shoulder come forwards and make my arm lengthen, look at the different look that these golf swings have. This one kind of works. So the right arm, in essence on the way back, should always feel like it wants to feel wide. On the way down, it wants to feel like it softens, doesn't tuck, it softens. And so I'm going to fire out 5-irons on the floor, a few 5-irons here, and we're just going to take a little look from above at a few of these shots here. And so we go up, soften and unload. So we go with a 5-iron, up to the top, soften, unload. That's a pretty tasty 5-iron. Let's go with a little high B. So I'm really feeling how this right arm can widen, soften, widen, soften, widen, soften, widen, soften, widen, soften. And that's a pretty tasty hybrid. And so this right arm never actively tucks in, it gives way, it gives way. And when you start to feel how soft it can be, because the lever system of how your levers are starting to set and unload, you'll really start to feel like your torso will really free up to encourage more arm length down through strike rather than arm tuck down through strike. Hope that's given you some insight into how the right arm, in my opinion, should operate. If you've enjoyed that, do hit the like button, share and subscribe while you're here, and I look forward to seeing you next time. And as usual, I think you'll find that, my friends, is good coaching.